Hey everyone, we are back with another Gutsy woman. Well, this time we're talking to Ashley Barnett. Ashley actually started blogging way back in 2005. She is an editor and the person behind publish.com. Welcome, Ashley. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be considered gutsy, so I'm excited.
Well, as we were talking, it's like, there are different varieties of Gutsy, so I'm just going to jump right into it now. So people have probably told you you're gutsy for doing what?
I think the gutsiest thing I ever did was move cross country into a location where I knew nobody and had never been, just because I was tired of. I moved from Massachusetts to Phoenix, and I was just tired of. I needed some sunshine.
And you've been in
Yeah.
Phoenix ever since.
Yeah, been here 20 years this year.
So how did that go? I mean, can you give me a little bit of background, like what,
Sure.
was something that your family was like, yay, or like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't really know what they thought, I guess. I just kind of announced that this is what I was doing, and a couple of months later, I left. I was just very tired of the small town New England, the rain, the clouds. I just wasn't feeling it anymore. Very constricted. Small towns don't really let you change once you know everybody. You've known them since you were 10, and that's who you are forever. And I don't know. I guess I was 23. I was ready for something else, and I Googled where's the sunniest place in the country, and they said Phoenix, and I said, all right. I got an apartment online. This was in the year 2000, so that was kind of a new thing. And then, I quit my job. I sold almost everything I owned, and I drove for 3 days over to Phoenix, and I've been here pretty much ever since.
And you didn't have a job lined up?
I didn't have a job. I did have savings. I've always been a big saver, so I had a good pile of money. So I felt okay with that, and I knew I could find something. So I wasn't too worried about it. It was. Go ahead.
I'm going to quiz you. What's your idea of a small town? You said small town population.
Yeah, I do say that. It was 40,000, which I know isn't super small, but it's small enough. They still kind of know everybody.
My hometown was 1,500 people.
Yeah, no.
So obviously we have different varieties of gutsy. Small town, okay. 40,000 is like big town.
I know.
That's really
compared to Phoenix, it is
true.
Compared to 6 million, it is a small town.
True. So you land in Phoenix, you get yourself an apartment. You've got some savings, and so did you go to work for corporate America, or what did you do for a job?
I got as a waitress. I did that for a while. Not really my thing. Phoenix is really big on call centers as entry-level jobs, a zillion call centers here. So I got into answering phones for a call center. And I did that until I was married and having my son when I became a stay-at-home mom. And then when I started blogging as a stay-at-home mom.
When you started blogging, what were you blogging on?
Personal finance. So I had kind of I called it an honest look at family finances was my tagline. So it was just our finances, what we made, how we spent our money. It turned out really to be a frugal living, debt payoff blog.
Okay. And were you always interested in finances? I mean, did this come naturally to you?
Yeah. I've always been interested in finances ever since I was a little kid. And then in high school, I would help my friends make their budgets as we were moving out of our parents' house. And yeah, it's always been something I have had an interest in.
So I went through the list that you have on Hit Publish, and so you've worked with a number of larger personal finance websites and some financial independence areas. And so what is it that you do for them, or what is your role?
Yeah, I edit mostly, blog and managing editor. That's really what I like to do, is have the site owners just give me a topic idea, and then I work with the writers, get it written, get it published on the site.
And So you've been self-employed for quite some time. And what's
Yes,
that been like? I mean, that again is another type of move that is, for many people kind of gutsy. It's you're
it is.
taking a risk, although in these days it seems like you have to do those types of things. But back then, because this was 2008 when you first became sort of your own business.
I started freelancing in 2013. I'd probably call that really when I became self-employed. I technically being a blogger employed, but I didn't feel like that to me at all. It was just for fun, you know. Yeah, but when I started freelancing and get clients and price, negotiate rate, things like that is when it really starts to feel like a real business. I forget the original question.
That so I mean, it is about like being self-employed, but so I belong to a couple of entrepreneur groups, and some with just women entrepreneurs. And it's so you talked about like even pricing your services for women. I think that we tend to undervalue, especially, I mean, you've been in the business for quite some time. So it's like, oh, I can maybe do that for so and so. And, men don't tend to do that. So for women who are looking to maybe start a business, be an entrepreneur, I mean, what sorts of issues do you see that maybe the guys don't have? And then, I mean, like, how did you sort of get used to the idea of that, okay, I'm a professional, and this is my rate, and this is what I charge, and I'm going to be tough about it.
Yeah, it is really, really tough. I think the main thing that I see a difference, especially kind of people starting out as in their own business, is that women tend to put it as a side thing. Like they try to do it in the margins out, so it doesn't affect their family. And men take it much more seriously as a business right from the get-go. They'll say, these are my working hours from 9 to 3 or whatever the hours are, will work. And they will pretend they're at work versus a mom tries to kind of work it in like she's cooking dinner and working. Men don't do that. Men work or they're home. That was like a big revelation to me when I started freelancing, is because it typically had male clients and that's how they treated their business. And I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, this is why they're more successful than me. As far as pricing, I would recommend I have somebody that's a little farther along in the business that I will say like, okay, here's the role that I'm quoting. What would be a good price? Just to have somebody else kind of, it's easy to talk yourself out of your price even before you've quoted the customer. But to have somebody else say, this is what I would pay for that service. And then you can go in with a little more confidence, and it's usually way more than I was planning on charging. So
Well,
so even if I come down a little off of that, I still feel confident that it's a good deal and I'm not undercharging.
so you've got two children,
I do.
and so are they at home these days, or how?
They are. They're older now. My daughter's 18, so she graduated in May during the COVID thing. And then my son is 14, so he's a freshman in high school this year, and he is homeschooling right now. Yeah.
So that has how has that impacted your ability to be focused and work?
It's a little bit harder with them being older. It's not, they understand like I had an office outside the house, and I've recently moved back home. And when I came back home, I was like, all right, we're going to pretend like I'm not here. My door is shut. I'm just pretend I'm not even here. They're old enough to be able to do that. And then my husband has really taken over the whole like getting school organized. So that was a blessing for me.
Yeah, it's I feel for the parents whose children are younger and now they're home, and it's just, I mean, the parents may not be able to stay home, and I just can't imagine. I mean,
I
my
know.
child is an adult now, but it would not have been a pretty scene. So very, very
Yeah.
difficult times. How has sort of like the pandemic and what do you think it has it impacted like the financial independence movement, and personal finance, do you see any impact?
It definitely had an impact on the sites, on the income that the sites were receiving from affiliate programs. A lot of affiliate programs have either gone away or cut way back, and people's habits are different. Credit cards is a big income provider for a lot of blogs, and people aren't traveling, they're not getting cards for the travel rewards, and so it did have a really big impact on sites. Yeah.
Do you think that people are more or less interested in it? I mean, does it feel out of touch now? I think
Personal
for some,
finance or
the financial independence, for people
oh
who have now lost their jobs, and I mean, I kind of wonder about that.
yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm really not sure. I think people who were already in the financial independence community, I'm sure have not faded away. It may be impacting new people coming into the community and like looking for financial independence information, just because it's not on the radar right now of like retiring early.
Well, I mean, that piece has not been the most popular, but we're also. I mean, I've seen more people become innovative. I feel like, if anything, we used to think there was a safe job out there, that my job is secure. And I feel like for a huge percentage of the population, that's been tossed on its head. Now
Yeah.
it feels more risky to stay with an employer than maybe it does to step out and try to build some side hustles or become your own business.
Yeah. I mean, I think the idea of working from home has really, people that maybe thought that it wouldn't work for them are realizing that they could make it work, or they do like it. Maybe they will be looking for work at home opportunities or ways to make money online that wouldn't have otherwise.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think time will tell, I think, on really the impact that this has had on the economy and how we work and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly quite a crazy time that we live in. You wrote something that kind of caught my eye, that you are careful to craft your own life, and that kind of struck me because like there's this book and a course. It's called Designing Your Life, and most people, I'm going to guess, just go about their day-to-day living. So when you talk about like crafting your own life, can you sort of put that into words as to what you mean by that?
Yeah. Ever since even in high school, I didn't want the life that was going to be given to me if I just followed the rules. If I just went along with the next thing that the person told me to do, I didn't feel like that life was going to be something that I was interested in. That go to college, whatever, get a 9 to 5 job, get married, have a couple kids. That just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't strike me as something that I wanted, and I wanted to make my own decisions. Like I wanted to decide what I was going to be when I grew up. I wanted to decide where I was going to live and who I was going to hang around with, and not just like, hey, we went to kindergarten together, so I guess you're my friend forever. Like maybe that's not the best person to hang out with. Who knows? Yeah. So I've always just questioned, like, is this the best thing? Can we make this better? Are these the people I should be around? Is this where I need to be? Is this the job I should have? Yeah, I don't know. I
So
wanted
we're,
to choose.
so we're coming out at this stage in your life, but if you could go back to your early 20s, or 10 years ago, I mean, are there things that you look back now and you say, well, that was a mistake, or that was sort of a dead end? I mean, are there things that you thought at the time, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and it didn't turn out, or you just learned that that's not who you were?
My big plan, even in high school, was that I was going to be a financial planner. And I went to school for that. I took all the classes that I needed to take to be a certified financial planner. But that is a sales job, which I did not realize until I was, you're all the way down the line. I don't want to, like, that was not what I wanted to help people with their money, not necessarily like just sell investments to rich people. So that was, I mean, it wasn't a waste at all, because I learned a ton, obviously, and I used that today. It's still in writing about personal finance. But yeah, that was a surprise, I guess, that I ended up not really being interested in that at all. But I found another way to use it.
It's interesting because I had to make a similar decision because I want to help people with finances, and I decided on coaching because you work so much with the mindset and habits, and I also was not into selling investments and making a commission off of something like that. So
Right.
I totally understand that. It's tell me about hitpublish.com.
Yeah. So Hit Publish is it's a course and a blog that talks about how to create better content for your blog. I've taken everything I've learned from all the editing that I've done. I've edited over 3,000 articles about personal finance, but I feel like I've gotten really good at creating content for the internet. And so this is a course that teaches new bloggers just how to improve their blog articles to make a bigger impact in whatever niche that they're in.
So it sounds like something I probably should take or should have taken 2 years ago, because I have a blog that seems to go nowhere. But it's not, I never started it to make money. And now it's become more of a personal record of my journey. So
Yeah.
that's the other piece of it is it's such a glutted field now. So everybody's got a YouTube channel, everybody's got a blog, everybody's got and courses, online courses are there's a zillion that you can take now. So it's like how do you I guess carve out a niche? Do you I mean what advice do you give to new bloggers that you think would resonate with a lot of people?
Yeah. My biggest advice to new bloggers is that the number one thing you can do to make your blog successful is to have good content. Like all the social media in the world, all the SEO optimization in the world isn't going to get you anywhere if your content isn't any good and it isn't helping people. And vice versa. If your content is amazing and helps people, a little will go a long way in the promotion because it will catch on. People will be interested and truly helped and they'll make the real impact and they'll remember you versus just being another site that has mediocre content. It's just trying to get affiliate sales.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what do you have planned for the future?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't look too far in the future. I feel like I cut myself short if I just kind of let it unfold naturally. I hope that to make Hit Publish the go-to place for new blogs. I just want to work on that. I don't know. I'm just trying to grow that. I try not to look too far in the future.
It's interesting because it's I talk about with the Gutsy Women Club. I use 4 terms. I mean, dream, plan, save, and then do. And I think when we're younger, it's easier to jump from, okay, I got a dream of living in a warm place, and you oftentimes don't plan or save, and then you just do it. You kind of just, okay, well, I'm here now. And then I feel like, I mean, do you tell me about, like, what are your thoughts? Like, as we get older, to me, it gets a little bit more difficult to take that step. I mean, I used to jump into things, and now I've got to plan and organize and make sure I have the money, and then I do it. Do you find that as you age that maybe you become, I don't know, more cautious in any way?
I don't feel that I have become more cautious. I'm certainly, as I get older, realizing that like you don't have unlimited time. It's time to decide what you're going to do, which is why I'm really focused on Hit Publish and not taking like new clients or anything that's going to put Hit Publish to the side, because I want to create something that is my own and not just always be building my clients' stuff.
And we've been interrupted by Miss Dolly, so I travel with 3 cats, and Dolly's waking up from her 19-hour nap. She's going to be part of the entertainment. So I feel like people, women in particular, the struggle is moving from talking about something to actually doing it. And actually, that's probably true of all people. So
Probably.
how do you like pull that switch that says, okay, I'm going to do it? I mean, any recommendations there?
Yeah. I really try not to look at the whole picture. Like there's the saying, you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Um, I wanted to create a course on how to on blogging, a blogging course for new bloggers. I just did that and then did the next most obvious thing. Okay, well now I need a website, and now I need a Facebook group, and now I need Facebook ads, and now I need a blog, and now it's like it just kept growing on its own. I didn't sit down with this big mapped out plan of all the things that Hit Publish would be someday. I just did the next most obvious step.
So you're gonna be a empty nester not too long. Any, I mean, does that change any plans at all, or your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. We talk about maybe moving to Colorado. My husband would really like to get out of the desert. So maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know. I hate to think about leaving. I don't want to think about my kids not living here.
That, yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting because sometimes the parents are like, yeah, I can't wait for the day, and then other parents are like, oh,
Yeah, I can't wait for the day until the day started arriving. And now I'm like, no, let's just stay here. It's fine. You can live here for free. It's fine. Yeah, I was like, their kids are moving out right away and we're going to charge rent and all this. And then it's like, no, it's okay. You can stay.
with your background, like on personal finance, have you got them kind of set up to thinking about, what they do as they become independent?
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter is working now and, she's 18. So she has a Roth and has contributed to her Roth from paycheck number one. And, it's so easy if you start when you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
And my son, I'm sure will do the same. He's very into that. And, it's really hard to not want to control it and to let them make mistakes. But I have to remember, now is the time to make mistakes. Now is the time to, buy that car that you're going to regret, not when you're 30 and you have kids and a mortgage and everything else. So I try to lay out the proper, methodologies and then let them do their thing. But I was kind of like, you really have to have a Roth day one of working. So
It's it's an interesting balance, but most people learn nothing. So your children are going to be eons, and it may not come back until later. I tried to teach my kid how to do things, and he wasn't really interested. And then he's like, "Mom, these people blow their paychecks on all this junk." It's like, yes.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I try to get my daughter to have a budget, but she's not interested, and I try not to push it. It's hard.
Well, she's still very young, but she knows.
I know. She barely has bills.
Yeah, she knows the fundamentals, and so that's key. So, well, it's going to be interesting to follow your career and see what you do next.
Thanks. Yeah.
Any last words for the women out there who are watching who might be afraid to take that step, or are looking to maybe get into blogging or doing something different, but not sure where to start?
I would find somebody else that's doing whatever it is that you want to do and start hanging out with other people who are living that lifestyle. I really, the saying you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most, I absolutely 100% believe that. So just kind of get involved in the communities that you want to be involved in. And before you know it, you'll just be swept away by the tide.
That is very good advice, and I hope also that people have positive support networks. That's a big one. Personal support networks, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley. It's been a pleasure
Yeah.
watching you, and I will when this is produced, I will make sure that we've got connections to hitpublish.com and any other resources that you might want to add. And so, Gutsy Women Club, we are finished with yet another profile. Thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.